Hey guys, so today's video we're going to go ahead and cut out old rusted metal, treat the rusted metal that we don't necessarily need to cut out, and also make some patch panels to go into place. We're preparing the car right now in order to put it in the rear chassis and trunk area, so it's a lot of tedious work, and we will also be making some patch panels to go into place. Luckily I've gotten all the tools that I need now, and now it's just going through the process. There's going to be less time lapse in this video because it's a lot of the same tedious work, but hopefully it's still enough information to help you guys out. So I just pulled this out from underneath the car for the first time. This is the first time I've actually gotten like some serious light on it. And dear God, I am glad I decided to do this. I mean, I drove with it like this for about a year before I started this project. So I know it was working, but oh man, walking on eggshells. Okay, so here's a consensus. One, these will be easy to remove. The spot welds down here, up here, and up here. That's on both sides. So these will be getting replaced. I don't know if I'm going to do it with replacement panels if they have them, or I'll be doing it with just regular sheet metal, but they will be fixed. Under here, it's actually looking pretty promising. This is the worst area, so I'll hit that with a flapper disc. This is where it was obviously collecting water from on top of the fuel tank. So hit this flapper disc and get some primer on there. And also in this corner is pretty bad, but it's all surface, luckily. So we'll get all that cleaned up. Now, going on to these. So if you look inside here, you will see that there is many different layers that I have to cut through in order to get this off. So I'm thinking about just biting the bullet and cutting the entire panel off, like from the side over here all the way over on the top half, and then welding in the metal after I get it all apart. But that's something that I want to sleep on. So okay, so I took the night to just reevaluate and make sure I wasn't hopping into anything that I wasn't going to be able to finish, and I think I came up with a pretty good plan. Those channels that are up front that are still in place, if I slice them with the cutoff wheel and then I go in with the Sawzall and get those extra brackets out and have all the spot welds drilled out, I'll be able to break off half of it and then be able to drill out the spot welds that I can't get access to. So we're going to give that a shot. So back to time lapse. Alright, well, we got it off, and underneath here is not very promising, to say the least. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drill all these spot welds, and then this piece of metal that's sandwiched in here is gonna need to slide out from underneath this piece. As you can tell, I did a little bit of scratches under here, but that's not a big deal. Underneath here is pretty rusty, especially in this corner. So hopefully we can get this all cleaned up and keep it usable. I already know I'm gonna have to rebuild this bottom part with some sheet metal, because in order to replace that, I have to tear the entire thing apart, which might not be a bad idea, but we'll just go by the whim. So I'm gonna drill out these spot welds I'll probably knock off that other side right there that's untouched so far. Knock out that side off camera just to get it even out, and then we'll see what we're gonna do next. All right, we're back. It's been a couple weeks actually since the last time I did anything on Suzie because work got really hectic. But in those few weeks, I figured out a bunch of stuff and I ordered a bunch of stuff. So first off, these bits right here, and right here, there's no saving them. So I went ahead and found the part numbers, and luckily Subaru still has a few of them. They're discontinued items, but they are still stocked in certain places. So I got those two. I will be ordering these outside plates as well, since they are super easy to replace. So I'm just gonna order those. These are about $60 a pop though. So I'm waiting until, because I can get that done literally at any time since they're on the exterior. So I'm gonna wait on that. But I did get all the underside done. I'll be going under there today and getting all the sheet metal replaced that I can replace. That way I can get some new universal sheet metal welded in place. That way I can get this into place. By the end of the week, I'm hoping to have this in the car and hopefully stitch welded up. That way I can get started on the floorboards. All right, so let's get you along for the ride. So what I'm gonna do right now is go ahead and get rid of these two side pieces. That way I can get all of the paneling off that I no longer need. You can just put the new panels on. I'm not gonna put these on until I have this on, because it'll make it much easier to slide into place. And then we'll hopefully be getting this in. So, moving on. So we got all that metal out. This bottom corner here, I'm gonna end up patching with just some regular metal. This entire piece is gonna get replaced. And I'm gonna do the same on that corner, fix that. And then this entire piece is gonna get replaced. I'm gonna have to get in there and treat all that as well and replace that metal, which most of this quarter panel is gonna be replaced with the fiberglass one, so I'm not terribly worried about it, but it needs to come cut all the way across here. But I'm not gonna cut this off because I want to keep more structural rigidity in here until I get this in, which hopefully will be this episode. So what I'm gonna do now is go around with the wire wheel and just literally clean everything. That way we can start cutting and putting in new metal. Now that we have all the metal out of the way that we're gonna be replacing with new metal, besides these little spots, we're gonna go underneath and go ahead and get all that figured out. I moved the jack stands up, that way I can get under here, because right there is gonna be the worst part on both sides. It's gonna be rough, but we can get it done. Okay, excuse the face, but I've gotten everything wired wheeled and we're ready to add in new metal now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start like planning, making my plan of attack on this, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 spots that we need to add new metal into. 2 of them we need to do immediately in order to get this in, so I'm probably gonna hop on those. And then the other 2 we can get done before this goes in, but we can also do it after, so it's really not that big of a deal. Let me go ahead and show you what I did. So as you can see, I went around with the wire wheel on the old grinder and just went and hit everything that had sealant or rust on it. All this is gonna get treated, and then that little corner right there is gonna get replaced. All that's gonna be treated, and that corner is gonna be replaced. The back side of this is pretty clean. I want to treat that, and I want to treat that. And then under here, I'm gonna be basically painting the entire underside of it. I got rid of as much underseal as I could, that we can get down to the rust. And then we'll be able to treat the rust and then put in the new metal, hopefully. Okay, we put in work. I was able to get all of the metal cut out that I needed to get to clean metal. I know it may not look like it, but all that was chopped out and was all rusted through like that. I also cut out this section right here because I figured it was gonna be easier to just weld in a new patch panel than to just plug weld it. And I wanted to get behind it and make sure there was no rot, which on both sides looks beautiful. So next step now, I'm gonna hit this with the wire wheel since I couldn't get to it before since he had that other piece up against it. And this side I'm just gonna treat because it's really not eating up that much. That side I chopped off a little bit, that way I can weld in new metal and get it strong. The underside piece right there I'm probably gonna end up cutting off and putting new metal on it as well. As you can tell, it's all sorts of jacked up. I was looking into getting a new one of these as well, but I don't think I'll be able to find one. I'll do a little bit more research before I weld all this on. But yeah, so far so good. We're making good progress today. Hopefully we'll be able to get that thing prepped and ready to go in. All the rusty metal is treated. That corner and that bottom piece I didn't bother because it's all going to get new metal. Got all that treated. And everything under here is treated as well. Any spot that I saw rust, I cleaned it off with a wire brush and then I hit it with the chemical. So now I'm going to start making the patch panels for underneath, which I can actually use those because the metal that I cut out is actually pretty solid. So I'm going to use those as a template, cut out my patch panels and start fitting them up. It's going to be until tomorrow before I can weld anything in place because it's the metal needs to cure, and I have my weld through primer now, which I'll be able to use on this. So okay, the patch panels are made. So these are all the ones that are going to be welded in place for this to go in. The old rusty metal ones are over here. I've already taken and fitted them up to the car. I had it on time lapse for a good while, and then my GoPro overheated because, you know, Florida. So I had to call it quits and put it inside, but I got like halfway done before that happened. So you guys probably get a good idea of how this last one was made. Hardest part of these definitely was getting these compound bends done, which with some chisels and a big hammer was able to get it all done. The device is a lifesaver as well. All right, that's it for this video. In the next video, you'll see me mocking everything up, painting the last bits that we need to paint. It's all gonna be with weld through primer. I'm gonna go out and get some rusty metal primer. That's a thing as well that I'm gonna put over all the treated metal areas just so that I can give it an extra coat. In the next video, hopefully everything will be welded up or at least mocked up and in place. That way we can really start moving along with this, because as soon as this is welded in place, the rest is really just going to be bolting up, besides the last 2 panels that I have to cut out and weld, and then we have to do the wide body kit as well. Getting it down on all 4s is going to be a huge milestone in this project. As soon as we're able to get that back and welded in place. We're gonna get the floor cut out and we're gonna get the new floor in, and then we'll be basically just having to piece it together. The only other things that will probably require heavy fabrication gonna be the two quarter panel extensions is what Subaru calls them, and also going to be doing a right-hand drive wiper blade swap. So I'm going to have to cut on the cowl and weld in certain brackets and new metal. So stay tuned for that as well. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this one was informative because there's a lot of new stuff that happened, and hopefully you'll be there for the next one. Thanks again.